our small 3-bet. But then again, since he is playing a wide range of hands, I do in fact want the weaker end of his range, or the middle end of his range, to call and to see a flop. And if he manages to hit, middle or top pair, he might think it's good, and immediately he'll play the hand and lose more chips and leak them towards us. So that's why I decided to go with that somewhat mini 3-bet for that exact reason. So here we go. We got the chip lead now. He's going to continue with this super aggressive mode. And the last thing I want to do, honestly, is 3-bet him light. We cannot do that. We cannot risk that, because as soon as we 3-bet him light with something like, Jack 10 suited, we have to follow up on most flops. And given how this guy is basically willing to get it in with any piece of the board, or, continue on with the hand with any piece of the board, we don't want to put ourselves, again, into that ambiguous situation that I mentioned earlier. So we're just going to play standard and let this guy get into a situation where he calls off light again. Here with fives, we're just going to check it. A bet there would have easily been in order, but this guy is willing to float us so wide, and I am completely content with keeping the pot small, because I know this guy is going to be floating us 90% of the time with almost anything, and I think a value bet here is in line, and we will. So you see, exactly, good. 4-9 suited, gives it up to us, so he's toning it down a bit. Perhaps he's calm. King deuce, we'll get rid of it. And we'll see if he's ready to perhaps see some flops with us. No, he makes it huge, so we're just gonna give it up to him. Against a super aggressive player, a good way to combat it would be to start limping the medium to stronger end of your range. And if you're looking to try to get some folds out of the guy, perhaps raise the weaker end of your range, make it 3.5 to 4x. Simply because if you're raising hands like 8-5 to that level, 3x to 4x, you can fold them pre-flop. You can fold them post-flop if it doesn't work out for you quite easily without too much thinking. So that's my reasoning behind that. So I'll start to employ that now. So let's hope to get some fold equity out. Okay, so he doesn't. Really well connected board. But the only way we're going to win this hand is if we fire, so we will. And he does shove with the top of us, so we're just going to let it go. He wouldn't give that one to us. Kudos to him. 5-9, we're going to let it go. 4-5. Queen deuce, he min raises. We'll see a flop with his hand. Flop the flush draw. Just gonna call it. Play the hand slow. Do river the flush. And we will value bet here. 180 sounds about right. And what did he have? He had ace king. Oh wow. Oh wow. As if he checked that hand on the flop. That's pretty funny. I would never ever check that river and with the hopes of him betting, because I just think it's going to happen so infrequently. He shows up with air. He shows up with the bottom end of his range so often there. And ace king is just, it's so rare for him to, it's so rare to see that hand there in the showdown. So that's why I like to always bet out there, because I can never risk him just checking behind and losing a street of value. Of course, if we did check it to him, he was definitely going to bet. And of course, we'd re-raise more or less close to all in. to get as a stack. So yeah, at least he showed. Not sure why he checked the turn though. Anyways, we'll continue on with the game. Again, I am folding a lot of my buttons here. Not looking to get involved with anything too ambiguous, as I always say. Nothing too fancy. This guy is someone we can play fairly standard against and get into a spot where we will be the favorite. Unfortunately, this is not one of those spots. It's funny how he's just over shoving. It's pretty ridiculous. I'm pretty sure he's doing it with a wide range of aces, to which point we will eventually dominate him in one of those instances. Four deuce, we'll let it go. Something important to note, the 25-50 level is approaching soon. Ace 9, we'll min raise. And we'll like to check. Do hit our ace. Gonna make a small bet here. Interesting. Now when he does this, not quite sure what to make of it, but we're never folding at this point. Definitely going to see a river. Bets 160. Seems really value bettish. We will call this off, unfortunately. If I had to put him on a hand right now, I'm going to say he has the jack. Ooh, we'll never know. No, well, you know, the jack is the jack is the same thing as the 4 essentially, so good for us. Okay, I accidentally called there. I did not mean to proceed with this hand. Now though, I will like to fold. Our flush draw is too weak, and our 8 I don't think is good. Min raising the ace 5, and he 3-bets us, and we're gonna get rid of it. Three 9, we'll get rid of it. 25-50 level should be coming up very soon. Ace queen, we'll min raise, and hopefully he shoves. Okay. Just checks it. Check this flop. Okay, here I will make the call only because the turn paired, and he's very likely to have error much more often than he will a pair. And as such, I will make that call after his check on the flop and turn. In some instances, he will show up with the jack there, but in most instances, I think he won't. And now we're going to be playing a typical shove fold style kind of poker over this guy, only because the blind levels have reached a point where our stack sizes are essentially prone to being committed once we put a lot of money in pre-flop. So definitely will be looking for spots where we can go over the top and use that fold equity, the all-in move, to produce the fold equity we need to get, you know, his min raise. Jack 8 suited, we'll just limp. Try to see a flop with this guy. If he does elect to raise our blind again, I might actually be inclined to start doing it with stronger holdings. So here we flop a pretty strong hand, and we're going to be looking to essentially extract out of any draw, any 9, perhaps any jack that he might be holding, although unlikely. He folds. The min raise here, we're not against weaker opponents, against less aggressive opponents, taggy people, I'm going to be more inclined to 3-bet, make it like something like 225 to 250, and then try to take it down there, or with out of position bet on the flop. But against this guy, we're not going to be doing that at all with that, unless we have a very strong holding. Ace-8. So he min raises. We're just gonna shove. Last time he called with King 8. We were a bit. See, he shows up with Ace-3 here, and it's funny to watch. Definitely will rematch this guy if we manage to win, which we do, and it's nice. We'll rematch him. Okay, guys, that's a video for me. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Just a couple things to note. Against an aggressive player like that who is going super crazy, raising such a wide range of hands pre-flop and playing aggressively post-flop and basically floating you out of position, doing all this nutty stuff, just remember, just play a standard ABC style that doesn't get too fancy at all, and produce the results you want by making hands as opposed to making plays. Against players like this who won't fold to your C-bets, check back your top pairs, check back your second pairs, control the size of the pot against this guy, because guys like these are unpredictable, and it will always be in your best interest to keep the pot small when you're not holding a very, very strong holding. Sorry, when you're not holding a very strong hand. So just keep that in mind for the future when you face these kinds of opponents. It's always best to play it safe and not to get too fancy, and you'll get into a situation where you're dominating him and you'll win the match. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Leave your comments below and let me know what you guys think. All right, goodbye.